Okay, so let's answer these last 9 questions. Hopefully you've already answered them and we'll see how you did. If you didn't answer them, I would suggest you pause. Try to think through, pause right now to think through all the questions. Try to answer them on your own and then check back with this video. So here's the prism over here on the right. I think the letter you can't see very well is a Q. So my pen isn't working. Hold on a second, let me figure that out. Okay, so now it's working. So here's our Q for this vertex right here. So the prism is called a right what prism? Well, you title the prism based on the base. So the base is a 6-sided figure, which we call a hexagon. So the prism is called a right hexagonal prism. So that's based on the bases. Remember, the base is up here on the top and down here on the bottom, and the bases must be parallel to each other. How many lateral faces are there? Well, your lateral face are these sides that connect the two bases to each other. So this base edge and this base edge, they're connected here with these lines called lateral edges. So these are the lateral faces. So if it's a 6-sided figure, then we're going to have 6 lateral faces. What kind of figure is each lateral face? Well, in this case, you can see here that this shape is a rectangle, right? So each shape is a rectangle because it's not oblique. It's it's standing straight up and down. Therefore, each side is a rectangle. Otherwise, it's a parallelogram. Name 2 lateral edges and an altitude. Obviously, you could have a variety of answers here. Lateral edge, in this case, I see a PA. I see a QB as lateral edges. I see, I don't see the letter here, sorry, something C, SD. SD is another lateral edge. So name 2 lateral edges and an altitude. Well, what is an altitude? An altitude is also any of those. So the lateral edge in this case is an altitude because it's connecting the bases and it's right. So each of these is a right angle, so this is also the altitude or the height of this right hexagonal prism. The length of an altitude is called the what of a prism? Oh, I just said that. It's called the height of a prism. So remember, altitude and height are same. Okay, let's start number 6. Number 6 says, suppose the bases are regular hexagons with 4 centimeter edges. So we're going up to this, so we can see here our height is 5 centimeters. We know each of these edges are 4 centimeters, but I'm just going to draw it a little bit bigger. Even though my picture probably won't be regular, I'm going to draw it bigger. So remember, the apothem goes from the center to the center of a side. This is the apothem right here. If the side edges are 4, that means this part right here is 2, but the hypotenuse in this right triangle is 4 in a regular hexagon, which means the apothem is 2 root 3. Okay, so we'll need that for letter B, sorry. For letter A, find the lateral area. Lateral area is going to be the entire area going all the way around, right, this shape. So all of this area around here is our lateral area. So what we want to do, though, is find one rectangular area, right? So find one rectangular area here, and then multiply by how many rectangles we need. Well, you can see the width is 4, and the height is 5, but we have 6 of them, because it's a regular, so they're all the same size, so we can multiply that by 6. So 20 times 6, so that's going to give us 120 centimeters squared for the lateral area. The base area, so we're going to go back to this here. Remember, the base area is 1/2 apothem times perimeter, so that's 1/2 times 2 root 3 times the perimeter. Well, that's 4 times 6, right? So that's 24. So these 2's cancel. So I have 24 times root 3. So that's 24 root 3 centimeters squared. Find the total area. Well, if we have our lateral area, and then we have our base area, the only thing we need to do is make sure we multiply our base area times 2, and then we add these together. So our total area is 120 plus 2 bases, so that's 48 root 3 centimeters squared. So whatever numerical value I get here, my label then is centimeters squared. That's why I'm parenthesizing this, because it's this entire number, but I'm leaving it in exact value right now. So remember, two bases, top and bottom, plus the lateral area. The volume, we're just going to multiply. Remember, volume equals the base area times height. Well, the base area we said is 24 root 3. The height is 5. So that's going to be 24 root 3 times 5, which is 120 root 3. But this time it's centimeters cubed because volume is 3-dimensional. It's your base, which is 2-dimensional times your height, so it's adding the third dimension. All right, number 7. Can a prism have lateral faces that are triangles? Can a prism have lateral faces that are triangles? The answer to that is no. So the question is why? Well, if you have a base up here and a base down here, you're never going to be able to connect to triangles. You're always going to have four-sided figure to make those lateral faces. You do have triangles, though, as faces when we create a pyramid, which is going to be another section of this chapter. Then these are triangle faces. But for a prism, they're rectangular or parallelograms. What is the minimum number of faces a prism can have? So the minimum number of faces, well, you want to think of the minimum number of sides of your bases, right? So if your base is a triangle, which we've already seen up above, then, right, so if we go up here and look at this one up above, this is a triangle, so this is the minimum number of faces. There's one on top, there's one on the bottom, the two bases, and there's 3 different sides. So 2 bases, 3 lateral sides, that gives us a total of 5. So that's the minimum you can have. If 2 prisms have equal volumes, must they have equal total areas? Hopefully you're saying to yourself, of course not. But we can talk about it if you're not sure. Otherwise, you should be able to get the counterexample to prove that fact is not true. All right, hopefully this helped. And ask me questions in class. Remember, this time around, we're going to have ALEKS quizzes after you do the homework. So you'll do your book assignment, not the homework, but the book assignment during class, and then the next class to start, you will go right to an ALEKS quiz to start off with. And it will be graded and it will be put in the grade book as a quiz. Anyway, we'll talk about that in class. See you soon.